Greetings, ghosts and ghouls, and welcome to Bad Boo, a podcast country for the curious where we explore all things fright, flicks, and folklore.
We are your haunting hosts, Sam and Jodie, guiding you through every episode of occult exploration and holding your hand the whole way through.
So if you like the sound of spooks, screams, and symphonies, keep listening as we unravel our mystic matter for this week.
In today's episode, we'll be heading into the archives of found footage and some unnerving encounters captured on tape.
Well, here we are, 2026.
We're back!
Bad Boo has returned to your ears.
Did you miss us?
Yes, well,
I bet you missed us.
We missed doing
We
it,
missed
so
you.
We took a little break out of into the new year and coming out of Christmas. Just wanted to have a little bit of time to ourselves and relax and get things done.
As well, so
Jodie got quite unwell,
Yeah.
so we thought this isn't the right time to do it.
No.
So hopefully you haven't disappeared and think, hopefully you haven't thought we've disappeared.
Hopefully you haven't vanished into the abyss.
Yes, because we are back, and we are back with some very interesting episodes actually to lead you all the way through the rest of January and into February, which will be the conclusion of our first series.
Exactly. So if you guys do want to get in your recommendations, if you want to tell us what you have been liking, even what you haven't been liking, just please say it in a nice way, then don't forget to leave a comment. Let us know what you think, because we're going to be rehashing the channel. We're going to be rethinking some of the videos, maybe the orders that we release stuff in, maybe the topics that we talk about,
the length of the videos,
all of these types of things we're going to be looking into. So if you guys have any pointers or tips for us, or anything that you actually just want us to do, then please let us know.
Yeah, we're thinking of sort of going a bit more tailored down, sort of more specific routes as well. So we this first series is just sort of like a taster to see what people like, what people don't like, and we'll be putting up polls towards the end of this first season to see what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, so then we can sort of rejig our brand.
Yeah. And it's also been why we've been uploading on different days, like to kind of fit around our personal lives, and just to try and see when you guys are actually online and wanting to watch, and when you've got the time to tune in.
Absolutely.
So that's why we've been changing the days as well, because this whole thing, it's all been a scam. No, I'm joking. It hasn't been a scam.
Bad Boo's a scam.
But the entire thing has basically been a big, not test in a way, it's just been a big experiment, essentially.
This is Bad Boo's pilot, if you like.
It's the Bad Boo pilot this first season. And it just means that you guys can point us in any direction you want us to go from here.
Yeah.
So, moving on from that, we're going to pick up at a different spot.
We are indeed.
If you get what I mean when I said pick up, because that was a joke right there. Today's episode is about found footage.
It is. Our good old found footage. It's be a bit different, this one, I think.
Yeah.
Because obviously we focus on monsters and aliens and creatures, but this one is more about a certain type of film, and a certain way that it can really be very unnerving, I suppose, and especially like it's been a big craze on YouTube, and through especially throughout since YouTube and any kind of video streaming thing has come into play, especially in the early 2000s, found footage media has gained a massive popularity, especially in the backrooms type stuff. It's sort of resurged again in a new way, hasn't it?
So this episode is bringing Bad Boo back to the 21st century.
Indeed.
Because instead of going into folklore and what we usually do, what Sam was saying about the ghosts and the monsters and all those scary things, we're still looking at scary things, but we're actually looking at scary things this time.
Yes, indeed. So without further ado, as we do with every episode, we'll go right back to the start, and you guys might not know what it is, but I'm sure you do. But in case you don't, what is found footage?
So, found footage is personally one of my favourite things in the world. It's just really cool.
It's really interesting.
But found footage, by definition, is a cinematic storytelling technique that presents a fictional narrative as if it were real. So this usually consists of unedited video or film that is discovered after the event has taken place. Also, sometimes it is non-fiction, sometimes it is real. The idea of found footage is just finding a form of video, usually physical types of video, like older style ones like VHS players or If it was audio, it'd be cassette tapes or like.
It's also when like the sort of the camcorder and the handheld like home video cameras like came into play.
Or
that's
even
when this stuff
baby
kind
monitors,
of took off.
these types of things. Things that record things that everybody can just go and pick up whenever they want.
So like, whoa, what's that?
But it does dabble into the world of the internet as well. So found footage could just be a video that not a lot of people have found yet, but you found it and you think, oh my god, this is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Let me share this about.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we're going to be focusing on the kind of original take on found footage, which is the physical aspect of media.
Indeed.
Which will be the VHS tapes and the film reels, like we were just speaking about a second ago, and the camcorder videos.
Yeah.
So, with these, there's a couple of different like types that you can go into. So there's the POV immersion, which is usually where the story is told through the literal perspective of characters that are holding cameras or cell phones, or they're wearing body cameras. And these are usually like the most popular types of found footage because it's usually like real people recording real things.
Yeah.
So it's very impromptu. It's people, like we said, holding camcorders or holding phones, all these different types of things, and completely engaging with the event that's happening in front of them there and then.
Yeah.
Usually they're of like a diegetic origin. So for those of you that don't know what diegetic means, it's basically a film term that like pretty much encapsulates what's happening around the person in the scene. And for this, it just means that every shot has to be justified within the story. So it means that the character has a specific reason to be filming at that exact moment.
Yeah.
So if there was like a tsunami coming, for example, the diegetic would be that there's a tsunami approaching this person who stood in like a high-rise building, and you can see the tsunami in the video. Like that is the diegetic like origin.
Yeah.
Then we obviously have like shaky cam footage and like really sudden zooms, which are usually the techniques that come along with found footage, because when people recreate found footage or they do it for themselves in that fictional way, it's usually to purposely create that intentional imperfection because it makes it scarier, it makes it worrying, it makes it more impersonal, so that people get more attached to it when they're watching it.
Yeah.
And there's a certain film that we'll be talking about that uses those techniques perfectly.
Probably the gold standard of this type of film.
Exactly.
Indeed.
So we'll be getting into that in a bit. And this also includes like audio glitches to make it look real and kind of mimic the rawness of original like found footage. And that's just to add to the unpolished look of amateur recordings, essentially.
Yeah.
Then from here, usually, which again we'll get into a little bit later in the Shivering Soundtracks aspect of the episode, but found footage films don't really have a score most of the time. There's a complete absence of music for the majority of them.
Yeah.
Unless it is part of the diegetic of the scene. Then there's not really going to be a soundtrack in the background. It's usually like to maintain the illusion of reality. The films really have like a lack of traditional soundtrack, and because they're relying so much on ambient natural noise in the actual moment, and this is also really popular in mockumentary style videos and films. That's because the footage is also framed by like a pseudo documentary style setup, and this can be a news report or it can be a police evidence reel, or there's the other technique, which usually has like the lost kind of protagonist effect behind it, which is basically implying that the people who filmed the video, or the person who filmed the video, is missing or dead, and the camera's turned up itself, which either leads to like a digital ghost or that piece of footage being like the only thing that's left of them. And that's where we get a lot of the eerier feelings for these types of things.
Indeed. It's they come in many forms, our good old found footage film, and like you say, it's all very much based on like real things where people do go missing and are unfortunately dead, when people find these sort of last memories of them, and that you know, it's littered all over YouTube, these kind of things. And you know, like I said, the backrooms type of the backrooms type of like fictional aspect of found footage is, you know, always quite popular, especially in like post 2020, and that's kind of like the new kind of lost media people are calling it now.
Something that I really like to think about when it comes to found footage is where traditionally with paranormal things, people say that there's like residual energy on like materials and stuff. If there's like a murder in a building, or if there's blood on like a piece of carpet, then no matter how much you wash that piece of carpet, no matter how many times you chisel that piece of wood, it retains the energy from that incident because it's so traumatic. And to me, found footage is the modern version of residual energy. Because it's like that haunting feeling of the media's gone on longer than that person's life or than the event that happened. So it's just like a little capsule of residual energy.
It's almost like a time capsule.
That people can watch online.
Stuff. It's a really interesting perspective. But going back to the origins of found footage, like where does it come from? What was the first kind of type of way it's appeared, or having even like roots in books, even as like a little origin of found that kind of information, if you like. But like I say, within cinema, it is a cinematic storytelling technique that often presents a very fictional narrative as if it was real. And it obviously these kind of things are all kind of directed at saying this footage was found after this happened. But it kind of came from literature and sort of came in sort of the video nasty sort of era.
As most things do with like modern media.
So obviously long before film, the concept began actually in literature with novels like Bram Stoker's Dracula and Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which are told through found letters, diary entries and ship logs. So kind of it's like the first rendition of like a finding something after X, Y and Z has happened. So that's kind of where it probably comes from. But the first film experiment of this type of media was actually within the very controversial film Cannibal Holocaust, which is in 1980, which is the start of the old video nasties era, where this controversial Italian film is very widely cited as the first to use sort of the modern found footage type of presentation. And the director was actually taken to court for that to prove that the actors were still alive because the found footage of their deaths was so unbelievably convincing to audiences. So again, that was a very controversial film at the time. It still is now.
It seems like quite a few of these found footage like videos and films have caused a bit of a stir up.
It's because it's so like raw and real that anybody could have made it, and it could be like real and people could be posing it as this is a fictional movie, but it might not be, And also you had the last broadcast, which is in 1998. So just before the genre went global, the low-budget film, like I said, the last broadcast, is about a murdered TV crew that explored the media investigation format that would later become a genre staple. So again, it's sort of, you can slowly start seeing it in like the 80s and like the 90s when like handheld cameras and video cameras and all that started coming into, being able to be more easily accessible to just families and stuff. Which caused a massive global and cultural explosion.
It did. And part of that explosion that you were talking about is kind of really like the global phenomenon that came from found footage films, and that was with things like the Blair Witch Project, Paranormal Activity, and a few little other ones, but those are the two that were like the kind of like quote unquote godfathers of found footage horror genre films.
Absolutely.
Particularly the Blair Witch Project from 1999. And that's because its complete genius lay in like the marketing of how it was done in the early days of the internet, and that's because so many people genuinely believed that the footage was real, that like there was like conspiracy theories about it being real police evidence that had gone like
there's like missing
online about these
stuff.
Missing students. And obviously that had a complete handheld style which was like completely like over popularized on the internet. You then had the more studio era where it went into things like Paranormal Activity, and that introduced the kind of more passive found footage where it used security cameras and static tripods and baby monitors, that proved that the genre could be like a massive that proved that the genre could be a massive like essential cash cow for Hollywood studios.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just, they saw Blair Witch and thought, okay, this is something we can really use, and it's cheaper for studios as well. Not as much equipment you get. I mean, those two films, I believe, are like the two highest grossing films in terms of percentage, like budget to gross at the box office, like in history.
I know Paranormal Activity was one of like the largest like series of films that had its like a huge financial gain. I think there's like 8 of them, isn't there? I can't remember. Weren't they also James Wan's like films that he got like recognised for? I think.
I don't know. I don't know if he was involved in those. Have to let us know if you know down below. So obviously you then went on to a more like modern perspective, which is what a lot of people know found footage to be today, especially more I'd say in the late 2010s, which was like the Screen Life type perspective, where it was kind of like the movie takes place on like a Zoom call or on a computer screen or like FaceTime or anything like that.
And that was big in films like Unfriended and Searching,
which like kind of, is very much a reflection of like modern digital reality, and a lot of these things could very much happen. And I think, especially within like the COVID-19 pandemic as well, there were films being produced like that as well, because they were cheap and you didn't have to, you could do it from, remotely as well. So it's kind of people trying to find ways of creating movies, especially in that time. But I think nowadays it's turning more to like going down the subliminal route and like kind of lost media route of like, found footage is not so popular in cinema, but more on like social media now, isn't it? So it shifted.
Yeah, 100%. But before we get into the more modern and social media side of found footage as a subject, we're just going to take it back to the kind of most famous like found footage cases.
Indeed.
And that's because real found footage obviously represents like the final, most of the time, transition from a living person to like a permanent mystery, where the camera serves as like the digital witness to a tragic like incident that's occurred. And basically alludes to the fact that there's something to hide because this mysterious footage has popped up afterwards. Maybe the person isn't there. And there's a few really popular
notable
cases.
Sort of ones that have happened.
Yeah, there is. And the first of the 3 that we're going to talk about briefly is the Dyatlov Pass journals. And this basically consisted of 9 hikers who had vanished in the Soviet Ural Mountains. Searchers recovered several cameras from their shredded tent that they had found. They developed the roles that provided a then haunting chronological look at the group's final days in the snow. The most disturbing aspect is actually the 33rd frame of hiker Yuri Krivonashenko's camera, which actually showed a blurry glowing orb in the pitch black of night. And to this day, investigators debate if this is found footage that just captures like a lightning strike or a military missile, or if it's actually the entity that drove them to flee into the sub-zero temperatures without any boots on.
That's quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we'll be revisiting that a little bit later in the episode and go into a little bit more detail about that. So please stick around, and while you're sticking around, something else starts with S. Click that subscribe button.
Yeah.
While you're on YouTube, and if you're on Spotify, click the follow button, because it really does help us get our podcast out there and to share, our, frights, flicks, and folklore with all of you. So,
frights, flicks, and folklore with friends.
Yes, with our friends and our Bad Boo family. So, please share around if you enjoy, and subscribe and follow us, and just let us know. Let us know what you think. Second of all, in the sort of famous found footage cases, we have the Treadwell tape, which was in 2003. So when Timothy Treadwell and Amy Huguenard were killed by a grizzly in Katmai National Park, their video camera was running inside the tent. Because the attack happened so fast, the lens cap remained on, resulting in a 6-minute found audio recording of pure carnage. So pretty brutal. The recording captures Treadwell's desperate plea for Amy to hit the bear, and her final screams as the animal dragged her away. And the tape is currently locked in a bank vault, and it's famous for being the footage too dark to ever release, existing only as a terrifying oral legend among those who have heard it. So, again, another kind of legend / myth / folklore type-esque thing that we love. We love a little bit of mystery.
Yeah.
But not what happened to this
No,
poor
isn't there like a little rhyme that goes with like bears? It's like, if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, attack, I think.
I can't remember.
Like with bears?
Yeah.
Something like that. Like if it's a black bear, because they're like the non-harming ones, they just put on like a big show.
Yeah.
So like you can like...
If it's a brown bear or grizzly bear, then...
Make yourself big and like pretend to scare it.
Yeah.
But if it's a brown bear, I'm pretty sure you run.
You got to get out of there.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that. Go and look it up for yourself if you live in a dangerous area with
And if
bears.
you have bears around you, yeah.
But moving on from that, we're talking about something else that's pretty bloody dangerous in my opinion. And this might be the most famous one, if you guys haven't heard about the previous two. And that's because in 2013, during a missing persons investigation, Los Angeles police were looking through CCTV footage from the infamous Cecil Hotel. If you want to see us do an episode of the Cecil Hotel, please let us know, because that's the type
of things how specific we're going to go. We're going to go do an episode on, say, just like the Cecil Hotel or a specific location or item or something like that. So let us know if that's the type of thing you want to hear.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, the Cecil Hotel actually inspired the hotel season of American Horror Story, because there are so many bad things that have happened there. Mm-hmm. This being one of those bad things. And basically, the incident that occurred at the Cecil Hotel that was captured on video it just remains a cornerstone to this day of modern digital folklore. And that's because in this video, there is a very grainy CCTV footage of a young woman called Elisa Lam. And it shows her interacting with an invisible presence in the hallway, contorting her hand in unnatural ways and seemingly hiding from someone. Because it was captured on CCTV, it's basically deemed the most like frightening case of real found footage cases, because of the like anomalies within the file sections and the actual timestamps, because they are blurred or they're missing. And this leads to theories that the footage was edited by an outside force before the public saw her final moments. And for those of you that don't know why it's important about what happened to Elisa Lam, she was actually found in the hotel's water tank on the roof after her body started to decompose there, and the guests started to notice that their water was going black and it was tasting funny. I
saw a documentary on this a little while back, and it's pretty unnerving.
It's awful what happened to her. Some people say that she was schizophrenic and that she was like having an episode that she couldn't control. Other people say that she was like being possessed. Some other people say that she was actually running from someone that was dangerous and they put her up there.
Yep.
Nobody knows what happened, and the last time she was seen was in those CCTV videos.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those cases that it's sort of amongst those. It sort of definitely hits into like the paranormal sort of realm, more so than like the other two. So yeah, it's very, very unnerving, very, very much so. But talking about paranormal things that have been caught on camera, that leads us very nicely into the Isle of Fright.
For this episode's Isle of Fright, it is quite difficult to find found footage actually, because a lot of it has already been digested on the internet somewhere or manipulated in some way because of video editing.
Absolutely.
So we've gone for a little bit of a different route for the Isle of Fright this one. All of the things that we have found are from actual events on the Isle of Wight.
Indeed, they are.
The first one is a picture of a ghost hand. The second one is a video of someone that we're going to call the Glass Smasher. And then the third one is of some moving clothes. Now these might sound a little bit like,
what the hell?
What the hell? What the helly? What the helly on?
What the boy?
What the boy? But we're going to be reacting to these. We're going to leave the videos and the pictures down in the description for you. So if you want to go and open it up on another little tab right now and react with us, we're going to see what we think of these.
I've only briefly seen the videos and the pictures just to know, like, okay, that'll be cool. Let's quickly get off that.
I haven't seen any of these.
Jodie hasn't seen any of these. So this will be, like I say, the link will be in the description to these. So we're just going to talk you through them, see what we think, and basically just say whether we think it's real or not. In some ways, it's kind of like an Isle of Fright boo or bust, if you like.
Yeah. But don't get too messed up, because we've got a different boo or bust for
we have
you
got
today.
a boo or bust coming for you just after this. But I'll say the link will be in the description, and these are all found Isle of Wight footage / images over the years.
Come with us over to the little ghost island that we live on, and let's check out some of these ghostly images and videos that we've got for you today.
Indeed. So the first one is of the ghost hand, essentially, which was on a very old photograph, and it's on Facebook, and it was uploaded onto the Isle of Wight history page. So this photograph, as written, was taken on Sandown Pier around the turn of the last century. Occasionally, when looking through old photographs, the position of a hand or hands stand out as being very strange. And in this case, this person has highlighted the hand in question. And in the comments to this post, they've given another well-documented example that some may be familiar with, but we're not going to go into that. But we're going to look at the photo today. So if you've got it up, take a look now, because that is the hand there. Oh. The guy that's circled kind of reminds you of like the OG Pennywise, like the old Pennywise.
He does look like a bit
pictures.
Like that, actually. Like the Tim Curry version.
Yeah.
But like when he's like, before he's a clown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But can you see?
Yeah, I can see.
There.
It's a really big hand.
Big hand.
Like,
I was just about to say
is that?
There's a massive hand.
The only thing I might say is it the person behind him with like his hand across the guy's chest, almost like he's pulled him in?
Yeah, I mean that's the only plausible explanation.
That's the only plausible explanation, but also you can't really see the arm.
It just looks like a weird angle if that was to be the case as well.
Look like a very
but the hand is
angle.
massive.
Yeah,
it's like a really big ass hand.
It's a really big ass hand.
So, yeah, let us know what you think about that one. So that's our first Isle of Fright found footage that we have found. So there's a lot of mixed opinions, I know, in the comments, but I think the general consensus is that it's a bit bizarre.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It's just such a big hand.
It is. That's the peculiar part.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, I don't think it would stand out. But it's a big ass hand.
Yeah, I think it's probably the bloke behind him, because he does look very tall compared to the gentleman who's got his like hand there.
Then yeah, it's the angle that confuses me,
But also, everybody looks like they're walking around in that, so why has he just grabbed him by the chest?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a bit weird.
So yeah, let us know what you think about our first one there, which is the ghost hand in Sandown Pier.
It scares me looking at pictures like that, because it's like that's a really old picture. Like, I doubt that the people alive in that picture are alive anymore.
Yeah.
So I always think it's really unsettling to like look at those types of things,
Yeah, it is.
Knowing that like you're watching like a captured moment in someone's life who isn't alive anymore. Not necessarily for bad reasons, but like it's just really like.
It seems a bit like invasive.
Yeah, it seems invasive. Yeah.
So the second video, so it's the first video, but the second Isle of Fright found footage example we found is of the glass smasher. So it is basically a ghost at a pub called the Woodman's Arms on the Isle of Wight, which in the description I'll read this to you, and we will go through that, and then we will look at the video. So while I'm reading it, and get the video up ready. If not, just listen to us react to it and go and check it out afterwards. But basically, it was at the Woodman's Arms. Like I say, it's a pub on the island, and they state, quote unquote, it's not unusual to find spirits in a pub, but one hostelry reckons it is being haunted by a ghost. And the spooky video emerged, showing at the moment where a pint glass falls off a shelf by itself with nobody near it, and the footage clearly shows that the glass had been placed fully on the shelf. And that's the point to remember, is that it's been placed on there fully before it somehow tumbled down and smashes on the floor. So yeah, we'll be focusing on just the first video, only because the second one, we've actually visited this pub before in our podcast. Not physically visited it, but if you'd like us to, we can make a little investigation there.
Won't say
Probably
no to a little pub lunch. Some work and pleasure, if you will.
Yes, indeed. But the incident actually happened at the same pub that we have done on an episode before. But this is a different time a glass went flying. So it's the first clip in the video. So we're going to watch it now and see what we think.
I love how the guy's commentating this.
Yeah.
Is it ready? Oh, shit.
You see that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it just like... It just bursts.
Yeah.
It doesn't even like knock off the floor.
Let's watch it again. See that? Just... The guy sounds flabbergasted.
He does.
He's probably like the manager or
I'm
something.
flabbergasted.
I'm
watching
flabbergasted.
That.
Like,
wait, what?
Yeah, I'm going to look at it again. So basically the one we did before was a glass sliding off of the glass rack under the bar.
It was like set back under the bar.
But this one
like
is
slid
on
out.
a shelf, and this is the CCTV, and he's obviously looking on the surveillance of the pub. But it's clearly on there, and there's nothing. It just smashes.
It doesn't even knock off. The bottom of it is still there.
The bottom of the glass stays there.
And you know what?
The whole top of it just smashes.
I was gonna say like, oh, maybe it's that the glass was like freshly washed. It was still warm, and someone poured something cold in it.
Yeah.
Because obviously that can sometimes happen.
Yeah.
But there was like already water in it. The glass wasn't steamy, and there was a bit of fruit in it as well. I'm pretty sure. There looked like there was a bit of like grapefruit or like orange or something in it.
That's what I mean. It didn't look steamy.
No,
and like
it wasn't
often when
like...
glasses like get cold, they don't explode. They just sort of break or crack.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Often.
That's so strange.
That's bizarre. That is definitely bizarre.
Yeah.
So if you've watched that with us, let us know what you think about that one as well.
And now let's head into the third one.
The third one, which is basically a clothes rack, which I haven't seen all of it, but I don't know whether it's going to be real or not, but it's these clothes that basically apparently twist and turn on their own, but it could be the wind, we don't know. We'll watch it and see first. So the third link is going to be in the description, so load that one up now, and we'll watch it together and see what we think. It's 2 minutes, so we'll...
Does it say whereabouts on the island this
watch
one is?
it. No, it just says it's an Airbnb on the Isle of Wight. It says on the video you can see how the t-shirts start moving and then stop.
Ooh.
We'll see.
So if you're going to book an Airbnb on the Isle of Wight, definitely do, because it's a beautiful place to come and visit.
Yeah.
But be careful where you book.
Be careful
because you
where
might
you
be
put your
haunted
clothes.
in the meantime.
Let's go. Let's watch this. So nothing's happening right now, but we can see.
It must have already been happening if the person's like filming it.
Yeah, they must. It must be.
Yeah.
I don't know what that noise is in the background. It's turning. So right now the back t-shirt is turning.
Yeah.
And now the audio's cut out. So we'll just keep watching and see what's going on. Because right now it just... Because you know like coat hangers, they twist.
Yeah, they
on their own, don't they, sometimes? Especially like the metal like hooks on like, the wooden ones like these.
Yeah.
You know, ones that kind of can swivel on their own. They're more prone to this kind of thing. Let's skip in a bit, see what happens. Oh, there we go. So we're at just after a minute now.
How long is this video?
It's about 2 minutes. It's turning again now.
Oh, okay. See, I wasn't sure at first because it was both of them like twisting at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, maybe there's a draft, maybe it's like a humidifier or something that's like pushing
this
them
portion of the video is a bit more like interesting because it's only the back one that's moving and it's knocking the front one.
Oh, and she shows the rest of the room. There's nothing there.
There's showing the rest. There's no like window nearby.
I don't know who's like recorded.
I presume it's a she.
It might be a guy.
It could be he. Who knows?
It's men's clothing in the video, but
it's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't think it's going to move anymore.
That is really weird.
So that's quite unnerving. It's a little bit weird. I mean, obviously it could be a draft, but then again, both of the clothes would be moving, wouldn't they? You'd have thought. So, and we know the Isle of Wight is extremely haunted.
Well,
so
it's called Ghost Island.
It is nicknamed Ghost Island.
And if you listen to our previous
Island.
episodes, then you would know that Wight kind of directly translates to supernatural.
Yes, there is a direct correlation with the word white and the word supernatural. So
in like Old English.
In very Old English terms. So yeah, let us know what you think about those.
Mm-hmm. Let us know if you're going to come to the Isle of Wight and have your own encounters with these like laundry ghosts.
Yes, because there are ghosts that want to steal your clothes by the looks of things. So try and avoid those ones if you come to the Isle of Wight.
But on the subject of watching little videos that we're making our minds up on, that takes us on to our boo or bust.
So for this episode's boo or bust, we are going to be exploring a found footage case which is very famous actually, which is one we haven't actually mentioned so far, which is the fatal diving accident of Yuri Lipski. So essentially this is a video which will be the link in the description. It's an accident that isn't sort of like never been caught on tape like some filmmakers are sort of speculating. So it's kind of, is it real, is it not? But yeah. I think the general consensus is that it is real, and it's like a fatal accident, and the camera states it was in the year 2000. So we'll have a look. I mean, it's 7 minutes long, but we'll just skip through it a little bit, because I know like a lot of it's just not doing much. But we'll get to the point where things kick off. But it was actually uploaded about 17 years ago on YouTube. So, yeah. A link will be in the description to this one as well.
What year was that then? 2008?
2000 and... So 2026 now, isn't it? 2009? Something like that?
Oh, I was very close.
I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. I can't do my adding and subtracting. But let us know whether you think it is a boo or a bust, and yeah, we'll get into it. So we'll watch it now. So we're just going to skip in a little bit to about 5 minutes, which is where I know where the action starts going on. Mm-hmm. So I know that a lot of it's basically, it gets very dark, and where we're watching now, that it's very, very dark.
Very, very dark as in like visually, or very, very dark as in...
Very visually very dark, and probably very dark about what's going on.
Yeah.
So if you skipped about 5 minutes in, this is when things start going a bit tits up, because, I mean, I hate dark water and oceans anyway. But you can see like the bed of the ocean now. But it sounds like he's like struggling to... Yeah, so he's looking at his like the stat thing on like divers have on their arm. I don't know the full term. But he's
oh my god.
I think he's run out of oxygen by the looks of things. You can hear like these screams under the mask. It's terrible.
Do you reckon that's the colour of his light, or do you reckon that's like blood that's gone in front of like the camera?
I think it's the colour of the light.
Yeah.
I think because it's like orange, but it's
like
very unnerving light.
It is.
It looks like creepy. I think this is all underwater as well. It creeps me out. Yeah, I think he's trying to like... I don't know.
This was filmed in 2000.
Yeah, it's filmed in 2000.
So it was uploaded like a few years later.
Yeah.
Nearly a decade.
To me, it's kind of like the struggles. It's kind of like really...
Yeah.
You're struggling there.
It's really disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
I hate watching like videos where people are underwater.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's like... I saw a comment just now on that video saying like this is why basically that we're not built for it. Because it's just things like this happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it shouldn't, because it's very important that the ocean is explored for all types of things, but it's such a dangerous thing.
It really is. It's so
something
dangerous.
goes wrong, and like when you're so far down. The camera's down on the floor now. I don't know whether it moves. That's it. And then the camera's picked up at the end.
Oh my god.
Apparently in the description it says it does not die. But I wonder if he's like been like rescued. I mean, I haven't really looked into it, but this is why I wanted to put it in a bill or bust, because it's like one of those weird cases. So let us know whether you think that the footage is a real or a bust, because I know a lot of these things can be faked, and I know a lot of found footage things are designed to scare people and be fake. We're just gonna have a look to see if it was real or not, in terms of whether it actually did happen.
He didn't make it.
He didn't make it?
No, I've just checked online and he didn't make it.
He didn't make it?
No, so he was...
Because people in the comments will say he did make it.
Mm-mm.
So it's like kind of a speculative thing.
It was the 28th of April 2000, which is the date that was on the video.
Yeah.
And he was at a depth of 115 metres.
Crims.
But he had a descent that was uncontrolled.
Yeah.
So it was probably...
just kept going down and down and down.
What's it when you get like the gas in your lungs because of like an uncontrolled descent?
And it's like water as well. It weighs you down, doesn't it? That's really sad.
He was only 22 and he was an Israeli diving instructor. And he was diving down a place called the Blue Hole, which is in the Red Sea. Yeah. And that's where that video was.
That's really sad.
That's really, really devastating.
So there we go. I mean, it's written down here that it was happened. Mm-hmm. Some people say it didn't, but I mean, I definitely 100% say it's a boo.
Yeah.
100%. There's no doubt about it. But I know that there is a lot of...
One of my greatest fears is the ocean.
Yeah.
And like deep water.
And I know it's a very wide... I've seen that video before, and I know it's very widely speculated whether it was like, designed to look like it happened or not. But I definitely think it did. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that it's fake.
No. But talking about things that confuse a lot of people, whether it was real or not, that moves us on to our Silver Scream. Now, as we usually do, we're going to get into the Silver Scream. If you guys don't know how this works by now, then where the hell have you been? Because you should know how this works by now. We are going to give you a little quote that goes with the film. If you can't guess what the film is, you should have seen it on our Instagram. If you haven't guessed what it is from Instagram and from the quote, then it will be revealed 2 minutes after we give you the quote and have a little giggle. Today's quote goes as follows. I'm afraid to close my eyes. I'm afraid to open them. So it's like, either way, you're screwed. And pretty much in this film, you are screwed. As she says it in the film, she's like, I'm afraid to close my eyes. I'm afraid to open them. That's very good. Thank you. I felt a lot of emotion going through my body right there. Yeah. So as long as it was just emotion you felt. That was emotion. That's a bit concerning if not. But for those of you that haven't guessed, we did really teeny tinily mention earlier the film that we're talking about today in our found footage episode. It's the gold standard found footage movie. It's the godfather of found footage videos, if you get the little hint to what we were saying earlier. Indeed. It is, of course, none other than the worldwide phenomenon of the Blair Witch Project from 1999. Yeah, I really love this movie. It's one of my favourite films. It's a very scary film, of course. It's just it's pretty nasty. Masterfully done, though, I think. It is. You forget that it's fake. Yeah. You forget that it's all made up. Yeah. And obviously we'll be going into a little bit of like trivia and things, where so many people believe that it was real, that a lot of consequences happened from the film. But the Blair Witch Project from 1999 was directed and written by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, who utilised a groundbreaking method approach to their filmmaking by placing their actors in the woods with GPS coordinates and minimal supplies to capture some genuine fear. Ooh. So there was some genuine stuff going on there, and there was some acting. So, as we do with every Silver Scream, we go through the plot. Yep. We won't spoil the ending, because this ending of this film is very, very poignant. So, yeah, Jodie, if you'd like to share with our Bad Boo family the plot of the Blair Witch Project. Sure thing. So, 3 film students, Heather, Mike and Josh, venture into the Black Hills Forest near Burkittsville, Maryland, to produce a documentary about the local legend known as the Blair Witch.
After interviewing locals about historical child murders and a witch named Ellie Kedwood, the trio begin a multi-day hike that quickly turns into a disastrous nightmare when they lose their map and realise they are walking in circles. Each night, the group is harassed by strange sounds outside their tent, discovering piles of rocks and ritualistic wooden stick figures hanging in the trees the following mornings. So we won't go into the rest of it because there's a lot of action and that's kind of where it picks up. And we really don't want to ruin it for you because you have to go and watch this film. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Now, if you have watched it, congratulations, you've got taste.
Yes. But say it is on Netflix. So if you are on Netflix when this is recording and when this was released, go and watch the Blair Witch Project. It's on there. It is on there. So now is your chance to go and see it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's dead frightening. It really is.
It's so good and it's so tasteful. It's not boring at all. It's just like
so well acted.
Very, very, very well done, I think.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting technique.
Yeah.
So, while it was not the first film to use the technique
of found footage,
it actually turned the found footage aesthetic into a very viable commercial genre. So it sort of paved the way for massive franchises like Paranormal Activity and Cloverfield and Wreck, amongst others. And the Blair Witch Project, I think, is very well known for its very viral marketing. So a lot of people actually don't know about this, but it is, if you do know about the Blair Witch Project, you probably know about its marketing techniques, which is arguably one of the best marketing techniques people have actually used for a film, really. Outside of the social media, because obviously it wasn't at that time, like posters and things like that. This film actually was the first to use the internet as a primary marketing tool. Where the directors created a website featuring fake police reports, newsreels and missing posters that led many early internet users to believe that the events were 100% real and that the actors or the characters were real people who went missing. So when the film then came out, people were like, holy shit, we're actually watching people
real
that have gone missing. I got a bit chilled then thinking about that.
Yeah.
Imagine going into there really believing that these people went missing because of this witch in a forest.
And that you're watching the last moments of
these characters. Or people, as you believe.
Or not even the last moments, but the last few days.
Yeah.
Like you're watching everything unfold in front of you.
Yeah.
But also how messed up it is for somebody to have like bought police footage and then make it into a film that like sold globally.
Yeah, it did immensely.
It really did. Was that you that just knocked that?
Yeah, it was that. It went.
I thought someone just went up to the door and went.
And
I was like, "What the fuck?" My heart like stopped.
Whoa!
That's why I went completely quiet and I was like, "Did you just fucking do that?"
Whoa!
I was like, what? Okay. Whew. Anyways, the director used a total immersion technique with the actors, and that's where they were actually left in the woods for 8 days straight, receiving instructions via GPS and having their food rations reduced to create genuine physical and emotional exhaustion on camera.
I actually didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, but that explains why it's so amazing, is because the actors were just getting genuinely fed up with each other and they were genuinely scared.
And only having like GPS instructions as well.
Yeah.
They're not like, oh, go here and we'll drive you around to this point, or we'll take you around to this point.
No, like they're actually in the
They had to
woods.
actually go and find their way around.
Well, it's the true definition of like method acting, isn't it? And basically one of the reasons that the film was so amazing in its production is because it actually like nearly grossed at $250 million on the like comparatively microscopic budget of only $60,000.
I mean, that even nowadays, 250 million is crazy amount.
It is,
isn't it?
But to make that back from a $60,000 film,
yeah, that's what I mean. From something that's 60,000,
absolutely amazing.
It's just insane.
But it proved that like really compelling stories and the kind of raw realism that could be like, it could be outperformed from high budget Hollywood special effects films. And it inspired an entire generation of independent filmmakers to shoot on consumer-grade cameras.
Yeah, I mean, it could certainly like completely outdo Hollywood movies.
Yeah, 100%, and it did.
It did.
Yeah.
It did, and it's one of like the highest grossing, like I said, budget to grossing ratios and percentages in history. So it proves, and it was a real proof to young filmmakers and aspiring filmmakers that you can make films on a low budget and it can do really bloody well.
Yeah.
You know, and this film was like massive inspiration when I made films in my A-levels. So in the UK, A-levels, it's kind of like before when you go to university. It's kind of like the segue between school and university. I did film in that era of my education, and Blair Witch was an inspiration through pretty much all of my films, because I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. Yeah. I can make a compelling story.
I can do better.
Exactly, but not necessarily better than the Blair Witch.
No. It's really inspirational,
quite hard to
for
beat.
Young creatives.
It really is.
Particularly that in the horror genre.
It is.
And even with that, not only did it obviously influence an entire generation of creatives and viewers, but it actually just was creative, like, in itself, with the tiny budget that it did have. And that's because the film was so effective in building its own lore around the idea of the Blair Witch, and the iconic stickman symbol that was like shown in the woods, that it actually became an instant cultural icon and often gets mistaken for actual centuries old folklore rather than the fictional creation for the movie.
I mean, like, the stickman thing is kind of the logo for the franchise.
Yeah.
I know they made like a sequel, didn't they, in 2016. It's, when you see it, you think, oh, Blair Witch.
Yeah.
It's so iconic.
Like, you know where it's come from.
Yeah.
I think it's just as iconic as like the Scream mask and like all those types of things.
It is. It's culturally significant.
And where they were like the kind of champions of the slasher era, it's like when the found footage era, well, first of all, the Blair Witch Project brought found footage into its own era, and it became the champion of it, you know?
Yeah, it sort of, like, films followed from this. Like, horror films very much were found footage, kind of that grainy VHS type looking movies as well.
And it popularized like the shaky first person camera style that then became a staples for 2000 media, because it wasn't then just used in horror, but it was like used in action movies and video games and like mockumentary televisions, even in shows like The Office, where they're like standing there and filming it with like a camcorder type thing.
Yeah, it's like a handheld camera. And a lot of people say, oh, it's lazy filmmaking, but it can be very, very immersive. It's very, very immersive. So going into a bit more behind the scenes kind of stuff.
Also, I think, just quickly, unless it's AI, there's no such thing as lazy filmmaking.
No, there isn't. If you're already giving it a good crack, and you're putting your passion into it, it's never lazy.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway. If you're using AI to make films, you are lazy and basically
destroying the industry from
a
the
sack of
inside
shit.
out.
Don't use it. If you think you're using it in creating art, you're not. You're telling a computer to create imagery. It's shit. It's got its place, and we need to find a way of working with AI as a tool, but not as a replacement for artists. But that's a whole...
It's a whole nother
giant umbrella of like a topic that we are not going to go into today. But going into the behind the scenes, like I said earlier, there's the GPS directing aspect. So the directors almost never actually saw the actors, and they left instructions in small film canisters hidden at GPS waypoints in the woods, and each actor received private notes they weren't allowed to share with the others, ensuring their reactions to plot twists were genuine. So that's a really interesting thing. So it wasn't just manipulating audiences pre the film's release and post the film's release.
They were even
also
manipulating the actors,
which is
controversial,
but it was very clever.
Really clever, and it worked.
Yeah.
They also, to make the actors more irritable and exhausted, the crew intentionally reduced the food portions every single day, so that by the end of the shoot they were living on very small rations to increase the on-camera tension.
Yeah, because they do seem, it's like so realistic in how annoyed they are with each other and how just irritated they are with everything in general.
Yeah, well, because of that, they actually, where they ended up staying in character 24/7, the actors all ended up having a safety word, which was taco, to signal when they needed to break their character for a real world emergency or for a mental health break.
That's pretty wild, isn't it? Taco! Imagine screaming that.
Yeah.
In the middle of the woods. I mean, I fancy a taco right now.
Oh, I love a taco right now.
Oh, yes.
Thank God it's not our safety word.
No, otherwise we'd be just coming to cook a nice taco for one another.
Yeah. Oh, Taco
Which
Bell.
would be nice. That'd be a nice safe
I
word
miss
to say,
Taco
give
Bell.
me a taco. Yes. We need, on the Isle of Wight there isn't a Taco Bell.
We need a
If
Taco
for some
Bell.
reason Taco Bell ends up listening to this, you know what to do.
Please come to the Isle of Wight.
People want it. People want
Please
it.
sponsor us and come to the Isle of Wight.
Stop putting Costas and McDonald's everywhere.
Yeah.
Put a bloody Taco Bell somewhere and we'll be happy. Alright?
But going back to the podcast.
Yeah, going back to the podcast and not Taco Bell. Many of the scares in the film were actually unscripted surprises. So, for example, when the tent shakes violently at night time, there's a scene where they're in it and it shakes like crazy. The actors didn't actually know that it was going to happen, and it was actually the directors running up and shaking it, and the sounds of children laughing were played through boom boxes hidden in the trees at 3 a.m.
Ooh.
Especially 3 a.m. That's like, is that like the witching hour or something?
That is the witching hour, yeah. It's the
bit
hour
ironic, isn't it?
where the veil is believed to be the thinnest between the spirit realm and our realm.
It's quite controversial and quite, like I said, ironic in the sense of what the film is about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that must have been absolutely mortifying.
I know. And to not be expecting it as well.
Oh, God, that freaked me out.
That's the beauty of, like, directing, I suppose, is when you know how to make your actors tick, you know how to make them tick, and you get an amazing performance out of it.
Yeah. It's all about making great performances.
Yeah. Not going to say I completely agree with the techniques that were used, but it worked and it produced something amazing, so props to all of them.
Props to everybody involved.
Now for a bit of trivia for you guys about the film.
Indeed.
The first one is that when Heather finds the bundle of sticks, the middle of the sticks contain a tiny little parcel that is filled with real human teeth, but they were actually provided by the dentist's director. They were actually provided by the director's dentist, and the hair inside of it was actually from the actor Josh Leonard's real hair.
That's pretty crazy. We won't say what character it happens with, but you know, there is a certain scene where there's some hair and some teeth are seen inside with the sticks, but I didn't know they were real.
No, I didn't know that.
I mean, the hair you can probably like more predict that it'd be real.
Yeah, but the teeth.
We said that at the same time. We like that.
We did.
It's just the shock of that. The teeth.
The teeth. And sticking to the low budget trivia, to save money, the production actually brought the main video camera from Circuit City, which I believe is like a second-hand like camera store in America. And they filmed the entire movie and then they returned it for a full refund after the shoot was finished.
That's crazy.
So if you are the person who bought the camera that the Blair Witch was like recorded on, then
that will probably go for a hell of a lot of money now.
Yeah. Oh, I want to know how much it is. I want to try and find it.
Get it on eBay.
Amazing.
Get it on eBay. Do it right now. Also, the absolutely famous close-up of Heather crying, which, if you've seen the thumbnail, it's on the thumbnail and the poster
and the Instagram.
It's like the iconic scene from the Blair Witch. So the close-up of her crying into the camera was actually an accident. She didn't realise she was zoomed in so far, but the directors loved the raw intensity and they kept it and became the most iconic image of 1999.
Ooh.
So like in the world, it was the most iconic. Like still, if you like. So
yeah.
That's that. I mean, I'm so glad that happened. That she accidentally zoomed it in.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it was meant to be.
I love that. Accidental filmmaking.
Accidental, but it was like, and that scene would have still been poignant, but it wouldn't have been anywhere, because you can, without getting like too graphic, you can see up her nose, and you can see like all her bogies like dripping down, and like the tears in her eyes. You can see like the raw. You can't see her mouth. You can just see like the emotion in just the eyes.
Because you can't see the rest of her face, it makes her eyes look brighter. Like you can see like the red bloodshot and stuff.
Yeah, and it's just black behind her, isn't it?
Yeah,
and you
it's in the middle
you don't know
of the
at any point whether the witch is going to get her or not. So it's kind of, it's freaky. It's a great scene.
It is a great scene, and it was so great that for years the film actually held the record for the top budget to box office ratio in the Guinness Book of World Records. And that's because, as we said before, it roughly cost about $60,000 to produce and make it, but overall it made $248 million.
So pretty much on the $250 million, which you said.
So then for every dollar that they spent making it, it effectively made about $10,000 back.
That's insane.
Insane.
So every pound, you put, I mean, I don't know, what would have cost a pound in there? Probably the KY jelly at the time.
Yeah.
Bought the KY jelly, a pound.
$10,000
It's 10 grand back. That's like, you're kind of set for life, really.
That's insane.
Because it's independent. You get that, most of that back.
$250 million.
You're set.
And they made a second one.
Yeah. I haven't actually seen it.
I think I might have seen the second one,
I don't know. I wasn't really bothered because it wasn't the same type of thing. So, but like we said earlier, there were some consequences that came from the creation of the Blair Witch Project, which caused some like real world fallouts. So the first one was actually condolence cards. That the marketing that we said about earlier was so convincing that Heather Donahue's mother, so Heather, the main character, actually received sympathy cards from people who thought that her daughter had really died in the Maryland woods. So that's pretty big. That proves you've done your marketing so well.
Yeah.
That the main actress's mum is getting letters to say, I'm sorry about your daughter. That's mad.
I know, that is mad. But another thing that's mad is after the film's release, the town of Burkittsville actually became swamped by fans. And so the original sign that was shown in like the earlier part of the film that says "Welcome to Burkittsville" was actually stolen so many times that the town eventually decided to stop putting the sign up.
That's just mad, because it's probably a part of the film iconic. So they're kind of like, oh, we'll take that as a prop.
Yeah.
And sell it. But I also know that a lot of people were like really mad, I read as well, about it being set in Maryland.
Yeah.
Because there's like a case of a girl who went missing just around the same time. And people were thinking it was like based on that incident.
Yeah.
So it's very controversial in terms of like its filmmaking methods and its, how it's received and marketed and stuff like that. But there's no doubt about it that the Blair Witch Project is a genius horror film that, it paved the way for a lot of films that we have now.
Yeah.
And that we love now. Blair Witch Project was responsible for saying, here's a new angle. Let's go down this angle. And like we said earlier, it's an example for aspiring filmmakers that you can do it on such a small budget.
It really is.
You can make big movies. It's about the story. It's about the acting. But the story is so important. Mm-hmm. And the story of Blair Witch is so simple.
It really is.
But it is so effective. So that is a real takeaway from the film is play with the tools you got. Make a compelling story. Get some great actors to portray it. And you're in. You are in.
The film is actually so effective without an essential part to horror filmmaking, which usually I do actually rave about in my opinion as a director. However, with films like found footage, it is the only exception where I think that a soundtrack can not be included because of the actual rawness of what's happening.
Yeah,
so like we said, if it's in the diegetic of the scene, then it's going to be there. If it's not, if it's done properly, then it's not needed. So let's get a bit more into that in our Shivering Soundtracks. So as we just touched on a second ago, One of the main reasons that the Blair Witch is so effective is because its actual absence of a musical score. And that's because to maintain the illusion that the footage is a real discovery, the film features no traditional instrumental soundtrack or background music at all. So for every sound that is heard, it is completely diegetic. But again, just to reiterate, it means that it completely originates from the world that the characters are in.
Not the editing booth.
Yeah, not the editing booth.
That is non-diegetic sound. So it's unusual, and that is that broke sort of conventions of horror. Yeah. So look, there's no music, and even me as a music composer, the Blair Witch just wouldn't be as thrilling if it had a score. It would be too cinematic and too fake.
But this is why it's so important to sit down with your films and kind of really touch base as to whether you think that it needs it or not.
Yeah.
Because there are films like Halloween that do definitely need it because it's such a ground-shaking piece that makes the film what it is. But there are films like this where it's been so pedantically planned. Yeah. Like, as far as directorial-wise, not necessarily for shots and things like that, because this film proves that it proves a lot of things. It proves that the more you plan, like, to push boundaries, then the better something can turn out. Yeah. But at the same time, the less that you plan and just see what happens, the more realistic result you're going to get.
Indeed.
Which, if that's what you want, then that's what you're going to get.
Indeed. Yeah. So
it's a very, it's just such an impressive film. There's no other way to really phrase it. It's very impressive. But getting back to the sound design, one of the most haunting audios in the film is Josh's screams from one of the final nights that is actually recorded. But this was actually recorded by having the actor scream into a walkie-talkie from a distance in the woods, which gave it a really hollow, distorted, and directional quality that terrified the remaining actors even more so.
Yes. I mean, that does make sense. That's a very clever way of doing it, actually, thinking about it in a sonic sort of perspective. Is very, very interesting, and a very clever use. So sounds, like diegetic sounds, are very, very important in this film, and that's why it was done like this. So most of the quote-unquote soundtrack consists of natural forest noises, so like your crickets and the wind and snapping twigs that are often manipulated or enhanced by the directors hidden within the woods to basically make them feel alive and predatory. So that, again, clever use of diegetic sound to, you can really hear it without a score. You can hear every tiny little detail. But although the movie had no music, the studio actually released a clever soundtrack album framed as a mixtape found in Josh's abandoned car.
See, I didn't know that, but I really want to go and listen to it now.
Yes, which it featured dark atmospheric tracks from various bands. Again, this expanded the film's sort of very edgy aesthetic. So, very interesting. You kind of, again, added to the marketing of it being real. Like, here's the cassette player of, like, Josh's top, mixtape of his, favourite bands. Adds to the thing of, that actually they all had their demise. It's just so interesting.
Yeah, it is really, really interesting. And there's also one of the arguably the most chilling parts of the audio for the film is the little clips of children laughing and playing outside of the tent at night. That were actually played through the same hidden speakers that we were talking about earlier in the episode. And again, these were just played without the actors knowing about it. And so it meant that the terrified reactions were genuine because they didn't know when the noise was coming or where it was coming from.
Yeah. That's why we touched on it earlier, but again, having it around and spread around them in the forest, especially when they're in the tent, you wouldn't have a clue what the hell's going on.
No.
You would think, oh my god, is this forest actually cursed? Or is there some sort of paranormal thing or supernatural thing or witch-related phenomenon going on here? It adds to the whole, realism of the actors acting. And finally, there's the abrupt cut to silence during the final scene, which we won't give anything away, where the camera hits the floor and it's sort of like one of the most effective uses of negative sound in horror history. So it's kind of like something happens, cuts to silence, like bam, no noise, but you can just see what's, the remaining thing. There's nothing that happens. And it leaves the audience in a vacuum of noise that forces them to process the visual shock. And, the ending, it gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. Does it you? The ending?
Yeah.
It gives you goosebumps. It's like a real...
Every time you watch it, you feel really fulfilled because you're like, what?
Yeah.
But that's it. You're just like, what?
That's what I mean, because the cut to silence, like like we were reading there, it sort of gives you that time to process it, but you can't quite process it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And where it's
kind of like so much like frantic whoa the whole way through, and then
it's almost
nothing.
like you're trying to process trauma on the spot.
Yeah.
Because it's real and you think it's real while you're watching it. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Exactly.
But at the same time, you're looking around your living room like, wait, what? I'm not there.
Yeah.
So what did just happen?
Yeah.
And then you think that you're watching somebody actually go through that. I don't know.
Especially if you're like a victim, if you like, to the marketing, it's you'd be like mortified watching that, thinking, I've just seen someone die. 3 people die. It's Blair Witch Project, masterpiece.
An absolute masterpiece, and arguably, in my opinion, one of the best films of the 21st century.
Yes.
I had to check what century we were in then because I get confused.
Yeah, it's because of 20th Century Fox.
It is.
I was trying to think about that.
No, it is, in my opinion, one of the best films of the 21st century.
It's iconic. It really is completely iconic.
It's just so well done.
It is.
But speaking of iconic cases, we're going to go into our ghostly gossip.
So for our ghostly gossip this week, as we touched on earlier, we'll be focusing on the Dyatlov Pass incident, which happened in 1959, and it's one of the most chilling and sort of verifiable, sort of real found footage cases in history. And the story is told through 33 final frames recovered from a camera found in a shredded tent on a frozen Russian mountainside.
Oof.
So, it just already gives me like... Well, if it doesn't get lost in the snow is like another thing I don't like. So
if it gives you chills, then that's understandable from the weather and from the state of affairs that occurred.
And we're glad that it gives you chills because that's the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. And basically the discovery was from when Soviet search parties found the camp. There were actually 9 experienced hikers that were meant to be there, but the tent had been cut open from the inside. So scattered among the abandoned gear were several Zenit C cameras. The hikers were all dead and they were found miles away in their underwear, some with massive internal trauma but no external bruises.
That's really bizarre, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Really bizarre.
And to make it even more bizarre, the frames that were found actually came from rolls of film that were actually in the camera and with the camera at the site. So after being developed by investigators, they remained in chronological order but were actually a record of the group's final days. So the photos start normally with the hikers smiling and setting up camp and trekking through the snow. However, as they progress, the weather turns and the final shots show a group increasingly exhausted and strained.
That's scary, especially because it's cut between certain events.
Yeah.
It's not like full frames, it's just kind of like snapshots of events, and the fact that the latter part was captured is very scary.
Yeah. It actually reminds me of another film that I think my mum introduced to me. I've forgotten what it's called, but there was a plane crash in a mountain range somewhere that was actually a real story. And there was this group of like a few young boys and it was a group of men with a few young boys there. I think the youngest was maybe like 15, and they were surviving in the mountains, but only one of them ended up surviving because they were going crazy and stuff. But they had a camera with them, so there's loads of pictures of them trying to like survive in the middle of this snowy mountain range. And all this guy had left was pictures of like the people that had passed away around him.
That's scary. It's crazy.
It was
as well.
really, really tragic, and then they turned it into an actual film. But for this one, the most famous piece of footage that was found was the very last photo, which was on hiker Yuri Krivonishenko's roll. And it is a blurry, glowing orb of light against a pitch black background. So skeptics have called it a light leak, whereas paranormal researchers believe that it captures the quote-unquote fireball or military weapon that caused the hikers to flee their tent in a panic.
So that's mean there's a lot of skepticism around this case.
Yeah, nobody knows what it really was.
No.
And the footage is real in the most like literal sense of the word, because it was the primary evidence in a criminal investigation that ended up happening surrounding the bodies of the missing hikers. And that's because the cameras were found with the bodies. The film acts as a silent witness to the tragedy that has never been able to be fully explained by science or by the Russian government.
It sounds like a cover-up.
It does.
It really does.
And in like a modern twist, researchers have actually used wind speeds and topographical data from the found journals to suggest that the mountainside created infrasound, like a low frequency noise that can cause humans to experience an intense unseen terror and hallucinations, explaining why they fled the safety of their tent.
That's great. I didn't really know there was such thing as like an infrasound.
I didn't know
caused
that
people
either.
to have like hallucinations.
Yeah.
And all this like crazy stuff. I mean, that's really sad.
It's really, really devastating.
And I did see some images before while I was researching the episode, and it was some pretty scary. I think seeing like a transition like that. But again, we're going to leave the link in the description to the incident named, and just go and check it out. There's probably a lot more details and pictures in the link, so we just touched on it there. But yeah, another terrifying case of found footage media that seems to, whether it's something supernatural or something military based,
who knows?
It's a skeptical type of event.
It is.
Like so.
But things that you don't have to be skeptical on are our movie recommendations. So that's what we're going to be talking about in the next section of Spooky Spotlight.
So for our Spooky Spotlight for our found footage episode, we're going to be recommending some found footage movies and videos and all sorts of things along those lines that we feel you should go and check out.
All things that you can find online for yourselves.
Yes, indeed. So, to kick it off, we got the infamous Paranormal Activity. So, obviously, the sequel started getting a little bit like, okay, we've seen enough of this. The studio got a little bit hungry. But the first one is very, very iconic, and again has the same kind of low budget to box office hit ratio. I think it is the number one, I'm pretty sure.
I think it did overtake.
So I think it had like the lowest
Blair Witch,
budget out of them all, and it had the highest box office score. But I don't think it's as good as the Blair Witch Project.
I just remember
But it is very, very interesting.
Do you remember the bit from that with the Xbox?
In Paranormal Activity?
Yeah. It might have been one of the later ones.
I think it was one of the later ones.
But yeah, in one of the later ones, they used their Xbox and they put it on the...
the Kinect, Xbox Kinect.
Yeah, they use
like,
the Kinect
see,
on the
like,
Xbox,
the ghosts.
and then you can see all the little dots, but like they move because there's ghosts there, but you can't see them.
I've seen this clip.
That frightened me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because Callum, my brother, had just bought an Xbox Kinect like the year that came out, and I was like, oh my god, it's haunted.
Get rid of it.
Ghosts, get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
But yeah, the first few were actually like really.
Yeah, I've seen the first 3, I think, and they were quite good.
I've seen the first 2.
But the first one is the best
later ones.
Yeah, the first one is like, without a doubt, the best.
The first one is really, really good. Then we have a very, very graphic tale, but it does include kind of found footage. And it's more of an internet one for you guys, but we have Don't Fuck With Cats.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that don't know, this is a Netflix kind of docu-series, which is about a very mentally challenged person who goes and posts videos online of them tormenting cats.
Yeah,
and it eventually leads to them murdering someone.
Yeah.
And it was an entire real story, and it turned into a huge criminal investigation that actually had people like pinpointing it worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because this person was filming videos and recording them
like
in
Facebook
their own home.
Or YouTube.
Then they uploaded them on YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until random people were just watching them, and they were being like, "What the fuck is happening?
What are you doing?"
Because they just happened to stumble across them online.
Yeah.
So that is like
Horrible.
the modern version of found footage.
Horrible.
Yeah.
We also have Cloverfield, which Jodie hasn't actually seen.
No, I haven't.
But I recommend Cloverfield because I have seen it, obviously. It's basically a kaiju movie, but obviously without like the big monster battles, like giant monster battles. It's got one monster. It's in New York, and it's from the perspective of people that recording like the events of this sort of giant monster attack from their camera. It's really frightening. I always found it really scary. So Cloverfield is a big recommendation. I love the poster. The Statue of Liberty's head's like wiped off. It's scary, and the found footage thing again, because of the Blair Witch, paved the way for the films like this.
Yeah.
So you also had films like Rec and VHS. I think Rec is the Spanish one. I always get confused between Rec and VHS, but I think Rec is the Spanish film.
I know VHS made a second one as well.
Yeah, I can't remember which one of the two, but I have seen both. But they're quite interesting.
Yeah. And Creep.
Creep is a very good film.
It's
the second one is not great, but the first one is really good.
Always go and watch the first ones of these, and then go into the second one with a bit of optimism.
Yes.
Because they're not as great as the first ones, but they're still kind of worth the watch if you're like into it.
But Creep is really good. It's sort of about a guy who's like in a cabin in the woods who searches online for someone to basically film a documentary, because they're like, I think he's like ill or something like that, but he's not. But it's basically to, like, document his like last days. But this guy who's asked this is from the perspective of the filmmaker, and it's the guy who's asked him to come out who's a creep. Hence the title. So go and watch it. I mean, it really disturbed me, this film. I really love it. Really vouch for it as well.
And speaking of disturbing things, we also are going to mention the infamous clip from the Paris catacombs of the Lost Explorer. So if you just type into like YouTube Paris catacombs, like Explorer VHS tape, then it will come up instantly. It is a kind of I don't know if it's a black and white video. It might be in color, but it's very, very like muted colors, and it's a kind of hour-long video. You can only find clips of it online. Of a person who went urban exploring down in the Paris catacombs, which is an illegal act, but they went down there because a lot of people do it anyway, and they're actually videotaping themselves, and this was like back in the 90s. And for like 44 minutes they're running through the catacombs and stuff. They end up walking through one of the tunnels that is filled with water. So he's like trudging through the water and things like that. It gets shallower and shallower, but he's still kind of in it up to his ankles. And then you start to hear splashing and things behind him, and he starts running. And nobody's quite sure what he's running from. He doesn't turn the camera around, so you can't see.
That really freaks me out.
Yeah, but he starts running, and obviously you're underground. You're surrounded by dead bodies, effectively, because there are bones in the walls everywhere, because that's why it was built. And he just drops the camera about 44 minutes in. And it keeps on recording, but all you can see is him run off in the distance. And the ripples against the water from where his feet are. And that man was never found. But you can see like his last moments of him running away on the video, and it's really, really
you can see him like running off into the dark, can't you?
Because it's completely pitch black down there as well.
It's horrible.
But obviously something shook him up enough for him to do that.
Bloody leg it.
Yeah.
And he was never found. Because they're massive, the catacombs.
Yeah, they go across the entirety of Paris for miles and miles and miles.
Yeah.
But it's really, really terrifying.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
But we recommend you go and watch it if you want a little bit of a
go
spook.
and watch the video if you want to be spooked
decipher it yourself. Because we could have used it as a bit of a bust, but we thought we'll use something that you might not know, because the Paris Catacombs video is more real, iconic, I think, in some regards, especially not now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Sam and Colby referenced it.
They do, yeah. If you're into the paranormal, then you would have definitely seen it either on Sam Colby's channel or Ghost Adventures, or just in your own researches online.
Yeah.
But just before we go to the end of the video, for the last part of the Spooky Spotlight, we're just going to shed a little bit of a spotlight onto the uncredited members of the sound team,
in the
sound department for the Blair Witch Project, because there's quite a few of them who didn't actually get credited in the film, but they have been credited on IMDb.
Yeah.
So we have Michael Broomberg, who was the Foley artist. We had Eddie Bidelek, who was the sound recordist. Paul Curtis, who is a dialogue editor. Elizabeth Floam, who was the sound effects editor. Alan Hurd, who is just credited as sound. Sean Kennelly, who was a Foley mixer. And Clive Taylor, who was a sound editor.
So there we go. Hats off to all these people who brought the Blair Witch Project sound design to life, because that's what really... That's a massive fear element.
Yeah.
In what you can hear sonically.
Yeah. It was a few more people. These are just the uncredited ones because they deserve it.
But for something that you may not want to hear, that brings us on to the end of tonight's episode.
No.
So if you have found your way through tonight's grainy episode, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for Bad Boo updates and new episodes, as there's plenty more frights, flicks and folklore to come.
You can also haunt us on socials at Bad Boo Productions, where you can interact and leave suggestions for future episodes, or even contribute to Bad Boo through polls and posts.
And if you're after more creepy content, then our Patreon is live, so if you'd like to hear and even see more of us, then head over there for more exclusive Boo Crew videos, stories and live streams.
So that's all from us for this frantic episode today. We've been your handheld hosts, see what we did there, Sam and Jodie, unravelling the dark so that you don't have to. And until next time, keep your lights on, your doors locked, and remember, the shadows are never empty.